everyone, my name is Sloan and welcome to my YouTube channel. I just got back from a trip to Texas where we got to visit the Dallas Botanical Gardens and we spent about 3 hours there. We meaning my boyfriend and I. It was a vacation that we took together, and while I was there I took a lot of footage of all of the absolutely gorgeous scenery and some of the houseplants that they have that are like literally living in the ground. That was so cool for me to see because we get some pretty harsh winters in Iowa, so we can't do that. But anyway, I took a lot of footage and I came back and voiced it over with some of my observations and thoughts as I was kind of walking around. And in the video, you'll hear me mention my banana tree, which you can see right behind me. It's much smaller than the ones that I saw in person. But anyway, I want to thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please make sure to like it and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Enjoy. Here we are right at the entrance of the botanical garden. They had these really large plants and they were kind of everywhere with the big leaves. I think they were some kind of alocasia. And here we are waiting in line, and there were these gorgeous plants above us, and it was in October, so they had tons of pumpkins everywhere. I've never seen so many pumpkins in my life. Sorry, this is me. And here I am apologizing to my boyfriend because I literally sprinted over here. We have one of these in our bathroom, like a teeny tiny one. I was so excited about that Stramanthe Trio Star because we do have one of those at home. And here we are, like just starting to walk in. Again, here's that really large plant that I think is an alocasia. Please tell me what it is if you know. Those veins on it are insane. And they have these everywhere. They must grow well here. And I was excited about this monstera that has double fenestrations in this giant pot with some crotons or crotons. I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce that. Everything I showed up until this point was kind of in the little entrance area, but now we're really getting into the rest of the botanical gardens, and this spot right here was one of my favorite places that we saw. It was very shady under a bunch of trees and just very peaceful. And I thought maybe this was a sensitive plant like a mimosa, the ones that move after you touch them. So of course I had to find out, and it's a different plant. It was not a mimosa plant. And over here are some cast iron plants, which are house plants, and it was really cool to see house plants totally just planted in the ground. That's definitely not something that happens where I live. I get some pretty harsh winters in Iowa, so it was really cool to see that. I don't know what that little building is, but it was pretty neat. But right now we're getting into what's called Bugtopia, which I don't really know what it looks like when it's not October, but right now it is, filled with pumpkins. This giant praying mantis was really awesome, and as you can see, there's a lot of children in this area. I think this is kind of the kids area, and they also had a little cart of somebody that was serving coffee, so I got a pumpkin cream cold brew. That was pretty good. It was very, very sweet, and I usually like my coffee just a little bit sweet, and I loved this gourd. If I could have bought that gourd, I would have. This little area over here, I think that group of pumpkins is supposed to be a caterpillar, but yeah, they had a lot of cool pumpkin sculptures, and I really liked this hedge. This is kind of random, but I just love that hedge, and this is like more of a landscaped area. These rocks had all of these plants growing off of it, and I was thinking about how neat it would be to have, rock with plants growing off of it in your house, and now I'm kind of inspired to maybe try something like that. And you can tell it gets more peaceful right around here. It's a lot quieter. We sat over here for a long time and just enjoyed the area, and these fan palms were kind of everywhere too, planted anywhere that they could be. So I'm guessing they grow really well in Texas as well. These are Japanese Aurelias, which are common house plants as well, just planted straight into the ground. Like, how cool is that? And I loved these trees over here. It was very peaceful. We also sat for a long time. I journaled, and my boyfriend looked at houses in Dallas on Zillow for fun, and that man over there read on that bench, and like, if I lived in Dallas, that would totally be me. My boyfriend pointing that squirrel out. He loves to point squirrels out to me. This is where we ate lunch, and they had these fiddly figs outside. And I threw my hand up here for reference just to show how big that leaf is, and it was also so shiny. Definitely seemed like a new leaf. And over here there was some aglaonema and a couple more houseplants. As my boyfriend talking about how it's getting cloudy while we were sitting down to eat lunch at this little restaurant. Again, just so peaceful. This place was great. This row of trees was absolutely gorgeous, and I could see people taking senior pictures here, or weddings happening over here, and I can't imagine how gorgeous it is when the trees actually have leaves, or I think they even flower. And I zoomed in on the bark over here just because the bark on a lot of the trees in Texas look like this, and they're really cool looking. And over here are more of that plant that I've kind of seen everywhere, or those might be different. That might be a colocasia. I don't really know how to tell the difference. They were really big if they were colocasia, and they had some hibiscus. And again, this is the most pumpkins I've ever seen in person, and I've been to pumpkin patches before, but I've never seen this many. And I took 2 videos here because my boyfriend suggested that I take a video panning up. He was so supportive when I was taking all these videos. It was really fun. Oh my gosh, what a cool shot this is with these 2 fountains. And you can see there's a lake like really far off into the distance back there. There's a really big lake like outside of the botanical garden. And you can look down onto this waterfall here. Oh, I wish I lived in Dallas so I could come here all the time. It was amazing. Me too. And my boyfriend loved that wall. He loves retaining walls in general, but that one in particular was really neat with like rounded edges. I like this sculpture and this fountain area, and guys, I could have recorded so much more. This place was very, very expansive. But this is where I started to get really excited about these banana trees. My boyfriend was just saying that there was more to the left, and oh my gosh, there were so many banana trees. Here's the ones to the left. I have one at home, and so it's so fun to see these outside. Mine is variegated like this one that I just showed right there, and those ones in the back, look at how huge these are. I mean, you can't even really tell in this video, but they were so much taller than me. I loved seeing them. There was that really neat fountain. It was copper on the inside, which is why it was kind of that green color. And again, these trees with a really interesting bark. This waterfall was another one of my favorite sights to see at the botanical garden. And for whatever reason, when we first got here, it was really busy, but thankfully it did clear out, so we were able to just enjoy the peaceful tranquility. But there were bromeliads living on the rocks over here, which was really, really cool to see. And we got to go back behind the waterfall. There was a nice little walkway, and that was really fun and very peaceful. And then after it cleared out, this is what it looked like from far away. Absolutely beautiful. There was this really big staghorn fern right in front of a different waterfall right over here, and you can see behind that waterfall was the largest banana trees in this whole place. Oh my goodness, these were ginormous. I'm not very good at estimating height, but maybe 2 or 3 of me, 15 feet. I don't know. They were insane, and here were more variegated ones, and ginkgo trees are my absolute favorite tree, so I was really excited to see these ginkgo bushes. And now we're kind of nearing the end of the botanical garden, so I just want to thank you so much for watching this video. If you ever have the chance to visit the Dallas Botanical Gardens, I highly recommend it, and if I'm ever back in Dallas, I know for sure I'll be back. Bye everyone!